So good evening. What we're going to be working on today is a 2015 Expedition EL 4x4. Going to do real simple rotor removal. So we're just going to go ahead and get to it. Now, if you've ever had one of these vehicles, you've ever worked on one of these vehicles, or you own one of these vehicles, and somebody tells you that the lug nuts are swollen, that might be an accurate statement. On this particular vehicle, we were coming back from Colorado and had to have the oil changed. And when we did, they told us that the lug nuts are swollen. And being that I'd driven cars all my life, I really didn't believe them. But once we got home and I inspected it, I did realize that the lug nuts were swollen. So we'll be using the 21mm socket to remove these, because I went ahead and got new lug nuts because, well, it just wasn't worth fighting the older ones. So to remove the rotor, you have to take off the brake caliper. Pretty simple. 2 bolts, 1/2 inch drive, So if your bolt just spins in place, grab you a crescent wrench, secure the bracket, and then you just go ahead and back it out. One thing you really want to also be prepared for is some place to hang the brake caliper so that it does not bend or apply extra pressure on the brake lines. I just use a hanger, wrap it around. Sometimes there's a hole you can put it through. But just get it prepared. That way whenever you pull it off, you don't have to fight with it. Now this should slide off pretty easily. Sometimes they do, sometimes they don't. If needed, you can always grab a screwdriver, but as you can see, this one was completely ready. And again, you want to hang it so that there's no extra pressure on that brake line. Then pull off the brake pads.
Go ahead and bring it next to my bike.
No, it's okay.
It looks like it's about to fall over.
So, just leave that one on there for now. Next thing we're going to do is pull off the brake caliper anchor bracket. For this, I'll be using the 13/16. Hey, sweetie. This one seems to be a bit more snug than the other side, which is good because you don't want your brakes falling off your vehicle, obviously.
You're gonna fix Mom's brakes? The thing turned. That turned a lot.
Yes. So I've turned it so that I can get to it a little better. Trick my dad taught me a long time ago. You don't have a cheater bar handy. Yeah, sometimes you can use a wrench. Now one thing I didn't do that I probably should have, now I think about it, probably should have sprayed some penetrating oil on these, which would have made this a lot easier. But a little bit of elbow grease. There is the anchor bracket. And the removal of the rotor is just like that. And that is what you're left with. So, to recap, new lug nuts, so they're easy to pull out of the socket once you pull them off. Remove the tire, remove the brake caliper, hang the brake caliper using a hanger that you have laying around the house. Remove the brake caliper anchor bracket, and the rotor just slides right off. So a couple days I have these rotors turned, and we'll go back through putting them back on with all the correct spec for the torque. And if you like this, if you think it's a good video, please give me a thumbs up and subscribe. Thanks and have a great day.